Our next email comes to us from Stacy. Now, Stacy has a question about her aunt. She says her aunt is in a nursing home and has been getting a lot of bruises. The management's explanations just aren't adding up. So she wants to know, should she call the police or get an attorney to do an investigation? What should she do?
What say you, BJ?
Well, I mean, one of the most important things you can do, obviously, when you have a relative in a nursing home, is to visit that person and spend time with that person. And if you notice bruises like this, you're then be in a position to talk to the administration, try to figure out what's going on, or do some sort of investigation, or have them do some sort of investigation. You can involve outside law enforcement if you want to. I mean, it's a crime if they did something that harmed her. But at the same time, it's more likely in that setting, just moving her around generated these bruises, which may or may not be something that she would have incurred if they did everything appropriately. So, you certainly want to investigate it. That could be hiring a lawyer who could then get the records and see what they say, or hiring or contacting law enforcement.
Let's go back one step before that, though. Before you notice a bruise or any other marks on the patient, you should actually research every nursing home before you put a loved one there. I mean, we all know putting a loved one, especially a mother or a father, is your worst nightmare, to have to do that and then have something happen to them. So you should investigate several and ask the families of other people who are there how they feel like their loved ones have been treated. And then to BJ's point, we have cases from time to time where there has been obvious abuse. I mean, you can see it, right? If there are bruises, if there are bed sores, I mean, that is self-evident. It's there. You know that they've been neglected in some way. You can actually go on YouTube, I think, and probably find actual footage of people being abused in nursing homes. That will scare you to death if you watch any of those. But again, if you do a due diligence search of that nursing home, talk to people who are in it, you'll get a pretty good idea. And again, to BJ's point, we oftentimes get cases where there has been obvious abuse. And yes, the nursing homes oftentimes are liable for that. But a key component to that whole equation is simply this: how often did you visit your loved one? Is it somebody who you go to see every week, every day? I mean, we have families who come in and see their loved ones every day, or 2 or 3 times a week, to make sure they're being treated properly. And then there are those cases where somebody has put a family member in a nursing home and then hardly ever goes and checks on them. And while the person doesn't deserve to be abused, it's hard to generate a lot of sympathy for that relative seeking monetary damages for a relative they've put in a nursing home and then simply forgotten about. And that sounds harsh, but it happens all the time.
And the state keeps up with complaints that are registered against nursing homes. So you can look on the state's websites and put in a nursing home's name, and it'll tell you about what their complaint history is. So it'll give you some good information about picking a nursing home.
Which brings us to our word that we were discussing earlier, which is ombudsman. I think there is an ombudsman. I hate to call it a bill. I don't think it's a bill. But there is an ombudsman you can go to that is appointed by the state of Georgia to oversee the care and treatment that people receive in nursing homes. And you can always make a complaint to the ombudsman, and you can get that off the web.